And I'm actually wearing a two hat in Cyble. Cyble is basically a global threat intelligence company which provides 360-degree visibility outside of your firewall, right? So it might be your surface web, attack surface, brand monitoring and dark web, and the threat intelligence. Today, the topic is very interesting. Everybody is aware about the ransomware attacks which are happening, right? And suddenly when there is a message comes on a screen that your data has been encrypted, and that's where the ring starts and they don't know what to do. So today I thought I will utilize this time to really take out some of my experiences over last 1 year where I am able to help 22 customers, which I will not name because it's under the NDAs and confidentiality clauses. So that's what we want to really take it. There are one big disclaimer, right? All the discussions which I'm going to have with all of you is my personal opinion. It doesn't represent Cyble, right? And the second one is that we don't really promote ransomware amount to be ransom to be paid to the bad guys because it's only motivates them, right? The first idea that am I able to protect us from the ransomware attack, and if we are unfortunate, right, a one door or one window is enough to hacker to get inside the network, right? In case if that unfortunate incident happened, what are the things that we should be doing, right? Can I get the stuff? Okay, stick. This one. Okay. Now another background. I have not worked with Gartner, Forrester, so I'm not going to use the word like CTAM or digital risk or continuous threat exposure management, which are very, very up and difficult to understand. I also not worked with Big Four, so I'm not going to use the word like strategic intel, tactical intel, or maybe you can say the operational intel. What I'm going to use that, I'm going to use a very simple word. If you really want to work with us or any of the threat intelligence company, you should ask only one thing. Are you going to give me the relevant intel within the time, right? Otherwise, all intel are important, but not important at the time of the crisis, right? So these are some of the research that we did. Right now, currently there are 5,500 plus ransomware attacks happening globally. These numbers are only available publicly. The actual number you can just multiply with 10x, 20x, no one is aware, right? The second, there are 86 ransomware gangs that we are aware, we monitor them 24/7, but out of the 86 gangs, there are 23 gangs which are currently active. Some gang might be really looking for your infrastructure, your data. One of the threat actors trying to talk to the initial access broker that, oh, India is growing, a lot of fintechs are there, NBFCs are there, banks are there, can I get ADFS credential? And there's someone who is actually selling it, right? So there are 26 active gangs that we see. The amount that they will ask is in range of 1 million to 3 million based on our experiences. Some of the gangs which I have seen like Lockbit, they also sometimes ask for $5 million. One of the incident which I was solving, $8 million, a big amount, right? But if you do the settlement, right, the amount can be reduced to somewhere around 250K to 800K, right? But then you need a right people who can basically able to deal with these bad guys. The ransomware overview is there that you can see, right? Jan, Feb, March, the constantly graph is fluctuating, depends upon the weaknesses that are there in the industry or in your infrastructure. And if you really see the most affected country today, in top 10, India is there, but top 5 you will find United States. Every day you will find some of the ransomware gang is basically, some of the companies are getting breached. Germany, UK, Canada and Italy, right? And then which are the most active ransomware gangs? Lockbit, everybody knows, right? and then you will actually hearing the black cat and all the stuff. These are the variant of Logbit. And then Conti, many things that you will read into the newspaper will be either Logbit or Conti, and Black Basta is another variable of the variant of your Logbit version, Alpham and Vice Society, that we have seen the most active gang. And the impacted industries are professional services. You already know that one of the largest IT companies already breached. Then manufacturing, construction, healthcare, government, and LEA. So these are the 5 industry we have seen. Now this is one which everybody is today talking about, is what is Logbit 2 as a gang, right? So earlier we heard about a lot of ransomware gang, but this is one which basically provide ransomware as a service, right? So you can just go to their .onion and you just buy that, okay, I want to have a ransomware kit for attacking a manufacturing industry. I want a ransomware kit for exploiting the Windows vulnerability, right? So all those things are actually available. And why the attacks are increasing because all the script kiddies, right? They can also go and buy the kits and they can also launch an attack. But then last year what we have seen, and a lot of Indian customers contacted us that I see there is a new version in last 3 months which is a Logbit 3.0. And the first question that are they really reliable? Because the screen will pop up and it says that you have been breached, your data is encrypted and the gang is Logbit 3.0. And the question that they will contact to all their colleagues which are in US, Russia and all the stuff, and they say that Log 2.0, we are aware about that and there are some of the decryptor available, but Logbit 3.0, there are not any significant research that can you really decrypt the data which has been encrypted using the Logbit 3.0. And now it is not just a ransomware gang, there is a portal if you go to .onion, and that portal has even chat box. The portal has even the various hacking tools listed that, oh, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. And in case if you really flash some of your data, right, that a particular organization is breached, there is a chat box. There you can actually do the chatting with them that I see my name is there, I know you have been breached, I know you are basically giving some of the sample data. I really want you to give me the decryption keys and I want you to delete the data. And the chat box will pop up and then you can have a communication with the bad guys and then they will also help you. The biggest problem in India, you cannot buy bitcoins, right? Then they will also help you how to buy the bitcoins and all this stuff. Moving forward, now we already know about the ransomware gangs, but then why these gangs are getting successful? Because many of our community members, they are more focused on internal security, right? Last 20 years, we were basically looking into the endpoint security, which is matured. Then we talk about network security. Then we talk about application security. Then we talk about the data as a security. And then last is the people or the people security, maybe how they can access the data and all stuff. But these all things are internal. And as a CISO, we can manage all internal security, right? But we are not knowing what is happening after the firewall, right? And that's where all these guys are basically communicating. There might be some Twitter post suddenly comes, you have been breached. There is some indicators in the dark web where there is an initial access broker. He is basically saying that I got access credentials of maybe AD credentials of a particular customer I want to sell. And there is another message comes that, like for example, one of the company in India, which is a government oil company in India, which is second largest, and I think they are in the newspaper. But this screenshot, we took it in month of January, and the date is 12 January. We come to know that there is a initial access broker. He is talking about that I want to sell access to domain network via web shell. Now imagine, so that is the data, it gives a signal that who would be the customers, right? So then if that customer is already having a proper or specific, a strategic threat intel provider, then he can get all the early warning signals. Second, there is another chatter which we posted. This chatter is also from the dark web where this Zenko is another bad guy. He is saying that I was selling access of the India's biggest, largest financial product distribution house. What it means He has a complete access of the data. He has a domain credentials. He wants to sell it for 10,000, 10,000 USD. The 10,000 USD is not a ransom amount. The 10,000 USD for the threat actor, so that he can get into your network, and then he will basically decrypt all your systems, and then he will ask you, give me another $10 million, right? The idea is that these are the indicators that any threat intel provider has to basically analyze and able to tell you proactively, so that you will prepare. Otherwise, what will happen? There is a news comes which came into the newspaper on April 20th, that the same oil company got breached and entire data is posted, right? So this is where now the guy tried to contact with them. They tried to do some kind of discussions. The discussion failed, and the biggest risk is that the company is on the newspaper, right? And then the message will come that if you won't continue the negotiation process, we will begin publishing all internal document, contacts, client information, corporating messaging, chat. And you know what happened? Then SEBI, RBI, CERT, defense, everything comes to your office and then asking like what has happened, right? And then another headache. The data headache is one, talking to, say, giving confidence to customers second, bringing the systems up and running third, managing the compliance issue fourth. So many things that can actually go wrong in case if there are any incident happened which is not planned, right? Then how the basically attacks are happening, and it's very simple. Everybody knows here. There are two people who are basically giving that particular what you can say. The two people. One is known as the initial access broker. His job is very simple. Use phishing mechanism. Put some of the malwares on your endpoint. Collect all your username, password. So currently today as a company, we as a company downloading almost 10 GB data from the Russian markets from these guys, which gives you your username, password, browser, cookies, as well as the autofill, right? What it means that if you or your employee is using intranet.abc.com, and if his machine is infected, then all his credentials, username, password, cookies are already available with the malware which is selling into the market. And then once that basically get available in the market, then the TA get into the inside of the network, he does the account takeover, and that the entire lateral movement starts. One time he will get into the server, he takes the data, he put the data into the CNC, and after that, because once he take out the data, then the real system starts and he will start encryption. The first level first level of ransomware attack, it was directly coming into the systems, they're encrypting. And then what you will say, I have excellent backup, I don't bother. You will rebuild the entire company in the backup, and hacker get nothing, right? So the new technique, which is a double extortion. What is a double extortion? I get into their systems. First, I pull out all the data, send to my CNC, so I have a data, and then I am going to encrypt. So now you have two issues. One, that okay, I have a great backup, but the threat is that if the bad guy posted my data on the forums, then there is a big customer loss, reputation loss, brand loss, and all those stuff, right? So this is the way these things are happening. And once you are able to do that, then there is once the data is completely taken out, then the last one thing which I have experienced in one of the customer place, that the DC, DR, right? So from DC is encrypted, he moved to DR, DR encrypted, DR is connected to the third DR within the same network in a NAS storage. He deleted the NAS storage because segregation was not proper. But that's kind of the network schema that they are also exploiting. So once they basically take out your data, put the encryption, the ransomware note will come on the screen, which will look like this, right? What it means that, right, your files are encrypted, not available, it's a just business, I absolutely don't care about who you are, I just need money, right? And then if you really don't give me the particular money or whatever ransom which I am asking, you will anyway lose the data. You already basically The data is already with me, which I'm going to post it. And third, which is a triple extortion technique by Lockbit 3.0, is that I still have a backdoors in your environment, which is the biggest risk, where I can flood the entire network and your systems are not accessible. Now see, you have earlier only one problem, then the problem becomes two. Now the third problem, that your data backup policy, even is adequate, you still have a risk of unavailability and you will still have a risk of data getting published and the brand reputation issues, right? So now what you should do, right? A very simple step, right? The first thing, that attackers are looking for easy and low hanging fruits to attack surface, right? Many times when we generally do the demos, what we found, code leakage is the first problem, right? Many times all username, passwords, server, IP address, schema, everything is already lying into the code repository like GitHub, Bitbucket and GitLab, and that's one of the way where bug bounty guys are making huge money, right? The second risk that we have seen in attack surface is that you really don't know how many assets you have globally, right? Suddenly one asset comes in US and it has a port 3389 open, right? But that is not allowed as per the company policy. Then you want to know that who has put that particular asset. Suddenly one asset pops up in Nigeria. You should know that I don't have an operation in Nigeria. Then why there is an asset which is naming ABC is already pop up in Nigeria. So you have to continuously monitoring the attack surface. And then one of the things that we have always been struggling from last 2000 is the first anti-phishing, anti-rogue monitoring I started in 2006, the brand issue, right? There is a fake website, fake domain, fake social media chatter, and fake content, and now the content is in various languages. Now there is no more English, it is a Russian language, Mandarin language, and also the tool that you should be basically looking at will be supporting UTF-16, means it can read any language. If somebody is saying that in Russian that India's top financial institution with turnover of 1 billion having registered office in Mumbai, then you should able to identify what it basically prompting, because earlier all the peoples which are there in the industry, they are working on the keyword search, right? If you already using some of the technology. So the keyword search is going to fail today because hackers don't use the name. Earlier it was like, okay, Mandar, and then all the people will use the Mandar. Where is the Mandar across the forums? But that Mandar, if they put it in Russian language, or they say no, Cyble's vice president, the Cyble vice president credentials are exposed, then your keywords are failing because you are not searching for Mandar anymore. So that is one of the disadvantages that I personally foresee, that the keyword matching is not the best option. You should have a relevance matching with the organization, right? Now, the three things that you also look at, the dark web intelligence. Lot of breaches are happening in India. Almost everybody's data might be there in some of the e-commerce website, food industry which got leaked, our portals where we take train tickets and flight tickets, and hotels are getting breached, right? Many times we give organization email ID, and then many of the time not everybody, other than you, not everybody in your company is IT savvy, they are putting the same password. So what we have seen, right? The passwords that are available into the third party, once they leaked, these will be always there in the industry or in the dark web. So I was doing the one presentation and basically POV for one of the client, and the chairman and CEO and CTO were sitting into the same room, and that particular CIO said that I just want to check for the madam's credential because we do a lot of VIP monitoring, right? What comes with the chairman name? And once we start scanning the entire dark web, we found there are 14 records. Out of these 14 records, 7 were SHA, 4 were same, and 4 were different. Sorry, 3 were different. The 4 which were same, right? It has a one female name with some number. And we asked chairman that what it means. She said it is my mother and my date of birth combined. And that was actually then the next question, are you using the same for Twitter, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. She said yes. So that's the basically risk that people are going. So as a incident management, the first thing that you should look for, dark web monitoring, cybercrime intelligence, threat intelligence and attack surface. Moving forward, the second, Now here, if your previous scenario is already failed, right? Then what you will do? Suddenly you see the pop-up, and then you need somebody who can validate that okay, the breach has happened. So what you will see, one of the leaked data forum that your data has been breached. Then what we do generally, we try to connect with the bad guy, right? Oh, I just want to know who are this company. Can I know how much data you have? And then this is how the conversation happens in the dark web, that oh, you have a 6 terabyte data. This is one of the largest IT company, and we said that it is impossible that with such a large IT company you have taken 6 terabyte of data and even they are not aware, right? So that time they said there is an insider who is giving me the access. Imagine. So that's not me. Even the company says that only one server got breached, and then we validate with the bad guy. I say give me the sample. Because if I don't give the sample, how you will know that you have been 100% breached, right? So this phase we do the validation that breach has happened, what hacker is saying is correct, legitimate, and you have been breached. And then we just asked one question, any more files? He said no free lunch, you have to pay. I said how much? $50 million, right? And then why should we pay $50 million? Because it says that the company claims in the newspaper only one server got breached. He said lol, we pawned 3,000 machines. Now what we are saying, when you do an investigation, right, we will come back to the conclusion that it's a legitimate breach. Now we want to recover from that. That's where what we will do, we will come back with the post-breach scenario. Now in case if you come across this situation, then what you should be prepared. Now you validated the incident, you already know you have been breached, right? Then you should really get into the stage 1, 2, 3. The stage 1 is that you have to keep the entire communication ready, when to talk, what to talk, who will talk, right? How much information to be given, how much information to hide till the time you do analysis, and how frequently you have to talk. Because when the breach comes into the forums, there will be the media outside of your gate asking, tell me more about this. Second question, ransom, to pay or not to pay. And third, even if you pay the ransom, what will be the consequence, right? The first thing that you have to really create a crisis communication. First, it depends upon your value. Do you really want to communicate to the world? Second, very important, right, golden hour. So when you see that you are under the breach, you should know that, oh, there is a proper crisis management plan I have prepared. The second, I know which are the people will be called for the meeting, and I know who is a spokesperson who is going to address board, who is going to address customers, who is going to address media. Because one statement which was there into the one incident, everybody knows about that incident, he said that data has not gone from my side, customer put their data, and now RBI has actually fined them now, right? So you have to have a right communication strategy. Then the third thing is that how you are going to communicate, and fourth is that you have to really create a messaging. So many of the organizations which you have noticed, after the breach, if you go to website, they will publish that we have been going through some of the breaches. We identified, we are investing. No one is concluded as of now as per my knowledge, but that is what you have to make sure, that you have entire SOP documented for the crisis communication. And then this is the one question, short of time, but I want to just cover, this is a slide which is very important. A lot of people comes to me and ask, ransomware attack happened, what should I do? Somebody asking 10 million, somebody asking 100 bitcoins, someone is asking 50,000 USD, right? And somebody is saying 15,000, 15000 or 10,000 USD, right? Now, the first question, if you really want to move into this step, because you cannot bring your systems back, then you have to get into this, that are you 100% sure that you can trust your backup? Many times the backup itself is not available. Many ransomware attack, when I ask the first question, sir, what is your backup policy? The last backup has taken 6 months back and I don't know the status, right? And then definitely you have to go into this stage. Second, are you confident that you can retrieve? If you say that, Mandar, I know assets which are compromised, I know my backup's availability, I have 100% confidence and my backup is reliable, he can bring me, you just don't pay the ransom, right? The second question, that what is the business loss? if there is a ransomware attack and if your critical systems are breached and you cannot operate, then how much revenue you are losing per day? Because ransomware attack will go up to 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, right? Then you have to take a call on the business. The third is basically from the compliance perspective. Our ransomware payments are legal. In India, it is illegal, but at some of the country, they made a provision that they are going under the ransomware attack one day and they will put 50K, 100K or any kind of money for that. And the last, all of you might be taken cyber insurance policy. The same, all terms and conditions are subject to your own reading and understanding. Have you specifically asked this particular question that will my cyber insurance policy covers the ransom amount? And honestly, one of the dark secret that there are not even 2 or 3% people, means out of 100, there are hardly 2% people had gone back and claimed the ransomware insurance, because first thing you have to inform to local law enforcement companies and then RBI and then government and all. So many people stay away. So I'm not sure how much the cyber insurance companies will work for that, right? And then this is a process in case then you come back to us that, okay, we want to really know that how the negotiation happens. These are very simple steps. We basically the people generally talk to threat actor, hey, I know you are basically got some of the data. Not there is a Mandar or not as a company, but there is a one new bot, which is, let's say, I'm a John, I'm a negotiator between these two companies. Now I want to sample data, so I will know that you are the same person who is sending mail to the particular client. Otherwise, ransomware attack happens, you are talking to one email ID or Telegram chat, right? Or some of this guy, which is a identity, digital identity. Somebody has put a bomb and you are paying to third party. How you will validate? The validation step is very important. The negotiation happens, and then the ransom description keys comes. The decryption keys will be tested. Then the transaction happens. Recovery of the data will be done. And the most important, the guys who are doing these guys who put a ransomware on your systems, or the person who hacked into the system, generally we asked him that, anyway, your motive you already got completed. Now can you tell me that how you entered into the system? Because how much you do internally, you will always confuse. Then why can't we ask to the bad guy that you tell me now how you entered, and he will tell, okay, I got a SSL VPN credential. That's how I got into the internal network and all the stuff, right? So this is a very important step that we have to really do as a part of this incident response, and then monitoring. Then even though once you are basically breached, the data will again come. So you have to basically monitor the dark web, deep web, surface web, social media on continuous manner, right? And the last, during the incident, there is a 4 hours notifications that particularly happening with the customers. When we contacted the guy, what he respond, then this is what we are talking about. This is the amount we are offering. He asked for 100 Bitcoin. He asked for 10 crore. We're starting at 50,000, right? So this is how the negotiation happens, and finally one place it's happened, and then all those discussions will be documented for your references. And then still you are dealing with the bad guys, and what is the consequence then? What are the consequences? The consequences are simple. Once you are breached, a lot of attacks will happen. Second, stolen data will be available, right? The third is that once you are in the breach, the regulatory action will be there. And fourth, if you don't manage the incident properly, wait for another few days, another attack will happen and another 100 Bitcoin will go, right? So that's where, to manage the incident response strategy in a summary, right, you should do 10 steps. You have to first define the framework in which you are going to create this framework. Second, conduct the reputation risk, that what can go wrong and what is the reputation risk to my business. Conduct various scenarios that how the bad guy can come inside your network. Fourth, create an incident response plan. Whom, how, when, where, and all the stuff. Prepare to communicate. Build your cyber response, basically build your cyber incident response team who are going to manage that. Then discuss the response protocol within the team. Train your spokesperson, right? Because he is the one who will basically create an impression about the brand, run the cyber basically exercises, and review and keep learning, right? So if you have these principles in place, and if you are practicing it on quarterly basis or by twice a year, you will basically able to do from a paper perspective, preparation perspective. But to know the ransomware attacks, right, or to know whether you are been victim of the gang, you should always have a 24/7 monitoring everything outside of your firewall, which is dark web, deep web, surface web, brand, and all the stuff. If you can detect early, you can prevent better, right? So that's where basically you should do. This is what I want to convey today. But thanks for listening. But these are all experiences are happened within the communities, and these are the live examples and the live screen that we thought we'll share with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mandar. And a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mr. Mandar Patil. Mandar would request you to kindly be on the stage. And I would now like to call on stage Mr. Abhijit P. Shah, CTO from Nippon India Mutual Funds, to do the honors. Abhijit, thank you so much for taking out time to do the honors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.